phone time. So at 6 o'clock, we're going to start the meeting here, the Planning Commission meeting March 12th, 2025. We start all of our meetings, we do Pledge of Allegiance, so if you mind standing.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Can we get a roll call vote, please?
Chair Erickson?
Here.
Vice Chair Anderson?
Here.
Commissioner Tippett?
Here.
Commissioner Snow?
Here.
Commissioner Lidke?
Here.
Commissioner Edwards?
Here.
Commissioner Kasparian?
Here.
Thank you. Did we all have a chance to review the meeting minutes?
I did. I didn't see any problems.
Yeah, it looked good to me.
I make a motion we approve the minutes from February 26, 2025.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you for that. Good job, Aubrey.
You skipped number 3.
Oh, did I? Oh, freaking. It's the first time. I'm so sorry. Okay, so that was low-hanging fruit. We got the easy approval out of the way.
One, yeah.
Okay, so recently we we put some new language into the bylaws for the Planning Commission to elect new commissioners. We have a chair and a vice chair. Currently, I'm the chair and Chair Erickson. This is Vice Chair Anderson. So this is our first time using the new verbiage and the new system. So hang in there with us while we go through the procedure. Vendalyn, did you want to present? As this is the first time, we're going to get a little hand-holding and guidance from staff to make sure that we get it in our heads how it goes.
So you had this in your packet, and it's really not as complicated as it might seem. Basically, it's a two-track process. We nominate, then we vote, and we do that first for the chair, then for the vice chair. Just as a reminder, so members are eligible to be nominees, but members and alternates can nominate and vote. So that's the one, I think, important distinction. So if the question is, what's the difference? If you're not an alternate, then you are a member, basically.
And we know who the alternates are?
Yes.
Yeah.
On either end, okay.
Yeah, on either end.
Thank you.
Right. When we do nominations, it would be nice if we can do that in an orderly fashion so that Aubrey can hear who nominated whom, so that it's reflected correctly in the minutes. And then basically you nominate, then everyone has a chance to say yes or no to the nomination, and there'll be a motion to approve the pool of nominees, and then we get into the voting. And the voting is going to occur on paper. That's why you have the little pieces of paper. You write down who you are voting for and who you are. Then I'll collect the paper, bring it to Aubrey, and then Aubrey will read it into the record. And just as a reminder, we came up with that system so that if you do a verbal vote in this case, it might influence, the first vote might influence the second, third, and so on. So we decided we'll try this out and see if that gets us to a satisfactory result. In order to be elected chair, one needs a minimum of 4 votes. If we vote and no one gets 4 votes, then we vote again, and the person or persons with the lowest number of votes get dropped. but there's no coin toss or anything like
Yay.
that. So,
We don't have to abide by the state's,
We're doing
no.
a coin toss.
And if you search the state code, you'll actually see that this legislative session, something changed in that.
Oh,
oh, and that's one of them?
Yeah, this, with the towing cost, they cut that down, and it's due to what happened here.
interesting
apparently.
timing, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting that we made the national list.
So, yeah, so with that, I think if there aren't any questions, I think we're ready.
Yeah. So alternates are able to vote, and nominate. Yeah, cool.
Well, I'd like to make a nomination that Candace Erickson serve as chairman. Person.
Thank you.
Chairperson.
Thank you. Are there any other nominees?
I'm so confused by all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to nominate
So we'll
first.
nominate, we'll establish that's who we can vote for, and then we'll vote.
And once you're nominated, if you would not like to
Yeah.
serve, you need to say so.
Make your
Yeah.
candidates,
Yeah, I was gonna
make
check.
yourself known.
You can also,
Accept
no,
or not.
no, I do accept, but I wanted to see if there were others. You can also nominate yourself.
Correct.
Ballot in that sense.
Yeah, if you're a full member, you can nominate yourself, so that's also an option.
I'll nominate Robin chair
Okay?
and vice chair.
One at a
Well,
time.
yeah,
We'll get to vice chair later.
you only can do one at a time.
Sorry, Aubrey.
We're not doing coin toss.
Right. All right, so do we have any others? Any other nominations? All right, and do you accept? So it would be myself and Robin for chair that you could vote on. Yeah?
Yep.
Okay, so I would entertain a motion that Vice Chair Anderson and Chair Erickson are the eligible members that you could vote for. Do I have I would entertain that motion.
I make a motion that Candace Erickson and Robin Anderson are the nominees for chair.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so now we can get to our little papers we have here. Yeah, you can.
Dun, dun, dun.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, I've got one vote for Robin Anderson, 2 votes for Robin Anderson, 1 vote for Candace Erickson, 3 votes for Robin Anderson, 4 votes for Robin Anderson, 2 votes for Candace Erickson, 3 votes for Candace Erickson, so 4 votes for Robin.
All right, 4 is our threshold, so Robin, you will be our new chair.
Thank you.
Congratulations, that begins at the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay, so you can study up, although you've been doing a great job as vice chair, so it won't take much.
It's a big step for me.
I know, you can take it. All right, we're going to do the same process for vice chair. So if there are any nominations,
I would like to nominate Shane Lidkey.
okay.
I'd like to nominate Candace Erickson.
Okay. Any others?
Do you guys accept the nominations?
Sure.
Yeah, I accept it. You accept it?
Sure.
Any others? All right, I would entertain a motion for Commissioner Lidkey and Commissioner Erickson to be in the pool for vice chair. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that What am I motioning?
Erickson.
Shane Lidkey and Candace Erickson have been nominated for vice chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you for that. I'm not fast enough at writing while doing this.
It's really your last name, it just doesn't look good.
Thank you, Liz.
Okay, for vice chair, we've got 1 vote for Candace Erickson, 2 votes for Candace Erickson, 3 votes for Candace Erickson, 4 votes for Candace Erickson, and the remaining 3 were Shane Lidkey. So vice chair, Candace Erickson.
Thank you for doing that calculation. Let's see. So I think we're good. So we will switch those hats next week for our next meeting.
Next meeting.
Okay, sounds good. So next up on the agenda, wait, is there anything else we need to do? I feel like there should have been like some kind of cracker.
Explosions of
It
fireworks.
was our first time, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
to like.
There needs to be a celebration.
How about a round of applause?
Yeah, there we go. All right, so we did the minutes, we did that. So we have an action item on the agenda. Unique Auto Body requests an extension of the administrative conditional use permit for outdoor storage located at 6941 South Rivergate Drive, located in the Bingham Junction Riverwalk zones. Vendelin will be presenting.
This item is an extension of an administrative conditional use permit that has already been approved. The reason why the applicant is here tonight is that they had problems getting the use established on the site. And as you see here, the city ordinance requires that a use gets established within a year of approval. And in this case, there were good reasons why it didn't happen. You got the request, I should say, from the applicant, and there were several reasons. I would say the most important reason for our context today really is that there's litigation between the property owner and an HOA. And that has held everything up. As the request says, they already have a contractor hired. They already made a down payment of 50%. It's just waiting because there's a process in which the HOA is involved for them to get started, and that's currently on pause. And you can ask the applicant a little bit. Mr. Nielsen is sitting in the audience. So in a way, this is pretty simple. This is not a sort of re-adjudication of the actual conditional use permit. It's just, can we extend it? And the ordinance says that the criterion for an extension is that the applicant demonstrates that there would not be an unmitigated impact. We already did that with the original ACUP approval. So in this case, that's really a moot point in a way. And their vesting occurred at the time when they applied. So you, as a commission, are the ones who decide here. You can approve, you can deny. There are, findings and a motion in the staff report, and this is the motion for approval that you can choose, and if you side on the side of denial, it would obviously have to be changed. So, do you have any questions for me?
Were there any deviations to the plan since it was brought before us before?
No, and really the only thing that came in from the applicant is the letter that says, would you please extend the approval? So there's no change, that's all locked in place with the ACUP that was approved.
Okay.
Can I make clear that the change to the zoning that occurred after this was conditionally approved would not be an unmitigated factor?
I think so. I think that's the case. I mean, the city attorney can speak on that a little bit too, but I mean,
He's
Thank you.
grandfathered in.
pardon me?
He's grandfathered in at this point.
Yes, and you know, there's also, I would say, you know, the principle of fundamental fairness in this case. I mean, there's really, there have been delays, and that's, you know, that's a fact of life sometimes.
Absolutely.
So,
Thanks.
All right. Would the applicant like to speak? You're more than welcome to. Are they here?
Thanks.
Yeah.
I've got nothing to add unless you have questions.
Yeah, I don't have any. We generally, in a public hearing, we ask the question, but this is an action item, so I thought I would extend. All right.
Do we
Any
need
issues
legal
here?
or anything, or?
If Danny would like to speak?
I don't have anything to add.
Okay. So it's laid out pretty straightforward, an extension to something we already approved?
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it.
Nope.
No,
this
it's an
was not
action item.
public.
Yeah.
This is just administrative.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
Yep.
I move that we approve the extension, the administrative conditional use permit for outdoor storage located at 6941 South Rivergate Drive for 1 year until 4/11/2026 with the following findings. The extension of the ACUP for outdoor storage does not result in an unmitigated impact, and of the applicant's process towards commencement of the use stalled due to litigation.
I second it.
Can we get a roll call vote, please?
Chair Erickson,
Yes.
Vice Chair Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Snow,
Yes.
Commissioner Lidke,
Yes.
Commissioner Tippett.
Yes.
The motion passes.
All right, thank you. Continue to work with staff if issues come up. They're very helpful, so hopefully you can get this rolling. Yes. And now, next up on the agenda is a public hearing. We have Vision Properties Utah LLC request preliminary subdivision approval of a 12-unit development located at 7838 South Holden Street, located in the multifamily residential medium to high-density RM25 zone. Jonathan will be presenting.
Thanks, Chair Erickson. So like she said, this is for a preliminary subdivision, just down the street here on Holden Street. This project has previously had an administrative conditional use permit approved and a site plan for the use. The units are currently under construction, not destruction, sorry, construction. I believe they're nearing completion. So this is just a subdivision for them to individually sell the townhomes that they're
They're
building.
pretty close to completion.
Yeah, they're
like-
pretty close. Yeah, so,
Close.
but yeah, that's, all this is just a preliminary subdivision. So if you have any questions for me.
And this is so they can sell the units individually rather than be in a rental complex.
Correct.
I think
Would
we've
have-
seen several of these come across.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, is the applicant here? Are you aware?
Yeah, I'm right here.
No, I mean, I don't have any questions because we've already approved it.
Yeah.
So,
If you have anything.
Only if you have something to add. It seems pretty straightforward.
We're super excited. They're beautiful townhomes. It will greatly add to your community. So,
If you could just state your name, so on the
yes,
record we have
yes.
that.
So my name is Temple Olayan with Vision Properties Utah. So this is my project, and super excited to get this approved and bring some beautiful, affordable housing to Midvale. So yeah, if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions. But,
All right, I think we're good.
okay.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yay, thank you.
All right, I will open this up for public hearing. If anyone has comments to make, please come forward, state your name so we can get it on the record, and let us know your thoughts.
I move slow at my age and I talk a little harsh.
We're not in a big hurry.
Horse. So please excuse me. I thank you for the opportunity to express some of my concerns with this project.
Can we get your
As
name,
well as
sir?
pardon?
Can we get your name, sir?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Kenneth Harper.
Okay.
And I live at 7860 South Holden, right next to that project. In fact, I was born on that property, I was raised on that property, and I moved back to that property for 20 years, and hopefully I can still live on that property. Anyway, I do have a number of concerns with it, as well as on my list, I put them down as just general complaints. My first one is, how can we have a preliminary planning meeting for approval of a constructed project that's already probably 70 to 80% complete? This sounds completely incomprehensible to me. Normally you have approval, then you have construction. Way back when they started the foundation, I asked the developer, well, when did they have the public meeting? The answer I got at that time was, well, they had it a couple of years ago, and that's still good today. And so when I seen the sign go up saying, hey, we're having a preliminary meeting for a post-construction project, I'm going, what? So that's my first question, how can we do that? It sounds irresponsible as well as it sounds, maybe there should be some legal issues
Do you
involved.
want us to answer your questions as you?
I would prefer if, let me just go through my
Okay,
list,
okay.
and you can jot them down. My second bullet point is parking and public safety. Many areas of Midvale we've created, by allowing curb parking on both sides of the street, we've created an obstacle course. That was made very prominent to me this last few months when I've had contractors working on that project, parking on this side of my house, on that side of my house, behind my house. I can't see, when I exit my driveway on Holden Street, I can't see the end of Holden Street on the south, nor the end of Holden Street on the north. So I say, Lord, help me get out of here, and nobody hits me. I think that if the project goes forward, you need to consider what are you going to do with curb parking? Because once the contractors are gone, and you move 12 families into a half an acre, and they got double car garages, but you and I know, based on experience in Midvale, that all that parking is going to go on the curb. And we're going to create a public safety problem. The other area is, I thought by zoning rules from previous people that we wanted to build on that lot, that there had to be a certain amount of green space and open space in order to have approval. But yet I look at that property and I don't see any green space. It looks like it's going to be all blacktop, housing, or concrete. Also, if I look at the front of that on Holden Street, it looks like it sticks out closer to Holden Street than some of the others. So I question the setback to the front step on that property. Also on the plans that this young man showed, it showed second floor windows, their doors. Construction was their doors. My assumption is, and again, it's my assumption, that you have to have two exits for fire protection. So one is on the first floor entrance, and the other one was changed from windows to floors to satisfy fire regulation. The next point is they've put on the south unit and the north unit all the air conditioning evaporators. So all summer, day and night, I'm going to hear the hum of air conditioning units. No mention of putting any kind of a wall there to help deaden the silence. You know, and I have the same problem. The guy on the north has the same problem. I think there needs to be some consideration there. As well as there needs to be some consideration for the current residents to recover loss due to their construction. I've already had my fence run into by their backhoe when they were backfilling the foundation. It's been brought to the attention of the developer twice. I've had no comment. I was told once that, well, the owners are considering building a new fence, but I've heard no more. But I think that the contractors that are caused the damage, developers who caused the damage, should be responsible to make the current resident known. I know of one resident that had to go out and buy tires because of stuff that would have been left in the driveway that cut the tires. That's my concern issues. Now, my complaint issues, since it's already been built, I know what's going to happen. Okay, I can see the future. So, first of all, their honey bucket was put within 25 feet of my garage door. So for the last 6 months, the exhaust from the human waste of the honey bucket has gone in, when there's a north breeze, into my garage. I shouldn't have to put up with that. That seems like a public health hazard to me. Second, dust and dirt. Yeah, you expect some of that. I'm looking, any of you to come into my house and you'll see the front furniture is all covered because we can't keep the dust and the dirt from construction out of my house. I would expect some of that normally. What you do about that, I don't know for sure, but that there's no compensation to the residents to take care of the problems that was created by the construction. For 20 years I lived in that property, and I had problems with gophers, I had problems with skunks, but I never had any problems with mice until the contractors brought in their loads of lumber from the lumber yard and dumped it. All at once, I started to have mice in my yard, mice in my house, and it's taken me 6 weeks of rodent repellent and traps to get rid of the rodents. And I could go on and on. But anyway, I appreciate this time. Something I was going to do, and I don't know if I should, is that I've got a couple of awards here that was presented to me from Midvale City for the beautification of my property and how much better I made Utah. I made Midvale. That means nothing to me when I see what kind of a 3-story building they put next door, that I'm going to have people looking down my neck for the rest of my life. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you. We hear your frustration, Mr. Holden. Did we want to talk about, well,
I think we need to go over the process of why we're where we're at.
right,
Just to answer some of his questions.
Yeah.
yeah, I think so.
Let me sit down, please.
Yeah, so we'll give you a chance to sit down so you can hear us. So I think the first one off the bat is the word preliminary for this in front of us. It is preliminary subdivision, so it's not the first time it's come before planning and zoning. I'm not sure.
This is like the third time it's come before us.
Yeah, we've definitely seen this project before it was built. Not trying to bamboozle or hoodwink anyone, but this is preliminary subdivision, so subdividing the plots of land, I think, is kind of the definition here. It's not the first time we've seen it. I'm not sure if you know the dates that the last time we saw it.
I was trying to look it up, I can't find it.
Yeah.
Well, I think we need to clarify what that means. The subdivision is, all it's doing is allowing those properties now to be sold. They have to create individually sold.
Yeah.
So all we're doing now, we've already seen it to approve
The development.
the development, and now we're going, okay, now that the development's done, we're going to subdivide it so that each individual unit can be sold.
Correct.
They do this a lot of times with apartment complexes. They'll convert them to condominiums and then be able to sell them off individually. So this, instead of it just being a piece of property with 12 units on it that they're going to rent out, this subdivision makes it so that they're individual and can be sold individually to home ownership rather than rentals.
So this is basically marketing of those apartments, not necessarily having anything to do with construction.
Correct.
Correct.
There'll be no, construction is about done.
When the construction was approved?
It's in public record.
Yeah, it is in public record. It is,
It was in 2024.
yes,
2024.
correct. And it has met all the requirements that the city has for green space, open space, and parking. We are very aware of the citizens' concerns about parking and open space as well. But it has met those requirements along with fire exiting. All the units have been inspected and they're passing their inspections or else construction would have stopped. So I understand your concerns seeing the word preliminary, because that is quite shocking, if you haven't felt like you were in the loop about it. But as far as construction and the phase of where we're at now, this is so that individuals can have home ownership rather than leasing all of these units, which is a goal of Midvale City.
You need to come up to here.
It is a goal of Midvale City to provide more ownership of homes rather than necessarily renting. So that's generally a positive that I know the Planning Commission has.
My name's Danielle Lawson, and I live across the street from the project. And I just am curious on, like, why would you approve 12 units for that small little unit, that small lot? Is that where Midvale wants to go, is with high-dense housing? Because I like the individual lots, the individual homes, that's what I like. But I'm afraid that with you going up right there on the corner, Ken's the only one next to the next road. That's what's gonna happen to me, because I'm on the next corner across from him, and that big lot next to me, it's only a matter of time before he passes, and those kids are probably gonna sell it. That means everything beyond is gonna be up, because you have another new condominium section going up right there on Holden Street. How many units is that one? Does anyone know? Because I haven't seen the plans for that either. But if they're gonna be built like the condos next to it, like they say they are, there's a lot more space for those than the ones across the street from me and right next to Ken. It just seems overcrowded, and I'm very, very worried about the parking. Worried about how many people. Do you realize how many people are gonna be on that little lot all the time? I don't know what we are thinking. And if that's the way we want to go, then I need to know, because I don't want to live there when everybody else is built up next to me too. Do you know what I mean? And I've been there since 1999. So, and you say you have consideration of the residents, but I don't feel like it either, because I am the one that did have to replace my tire because of a piece of metal that I drove through coming home from work. And that was the second time I had a flat tire. The first time was repairable, the second time was not, and no one cares. They called me back to just say, sorry, and I have plates of screws, different kinds of things left in the road just for us to drive over every day. So that has been a big, huge concern.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. But I would like you to answer me on, do you plan on building high density everywhere? Because if that is your plan, I need to know.
We won't know until they come forward with what they're gonna do with the property once it sells. And depending on what the developer or the owner does, it could be that someone buys it and moves into the home and it stays the same way it is, but someone could buy it and wanna try and develop it. And if it meets the zoning and the code, then they would be able to.
So a lot of our decision-making up here is based on the master plan, which you can find online, and it will tell you what zone your house is in, and it will tell you what's allowable for your neighbors. So if they did sell their property, what could be allowed in that section of Midvale? That's a great resource to figure out maybe the future, because that master plan was approved in 2016. And so that was gone over and looked over in 2016. So that's kind of giving you the direction of where Midvale wants to be. Vendelin has some words as well.
If you go on the city's website and find the zoning map, that expresses exactly what you as a property owner or anyone who owns property can do on a specific piece of land in the city. The area that we are talking about is zoned RM25, and that's a multifamily zone. So the applicant here, I mean, they are well within their rights as per Midvale's municipal code to have applied and, to have gotten this far in the process with this project. And any of you who own property there could potentially do similar things. Zoning pardon me?
If you wanted to.
Sure, yes. And I mean, if you're dissatisfied with that, zoning is set by the city council as the legislative body of the city. It's a legislative process. And if you want to petition, let's say, the city council to change zoning, you always can. In the planning commission here, in this case, just administers the laws that are on the books.
I feel like it comes down to the tax dollars, really, on what, like, if they can.
Sorry, if you're gonna speak, we and we just need it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I just feel like you might be heading towards wanting the tax dollars because look at the 12 different property taxes you're gonna collect on that one lot versus me paying just my property taxes that have gone considerably high over the years, as you can imagine. I guess that's where you guys are headed, is for multi-family and wanting the kind of community that it brings versus single-family homes and the community that it brings. It's sad because I've put a lot of time and money into my home to find out that this is the way you guys are wanting to go. And I know Ken is in the same boat. He's loved living there for all these years. So it's sad that you guys are pushing us old residents out and wanting the new ones in. So, I'm sorry.
Thank you for your comments.
Maybe we can go back to what happened previously to get us to this point for a second, just so that everyone understands what happened, and Johnny was going to present that.
So like we said in the staff report, so this went through an administrative conditional use permit, where letters were sent out to residents within 500 feet of the parcel. And that was actually done twice, once in 2021 and once last summer in April, where obviously it was an administrative conditional use permit, as well as the site plan, and that's when it was reviewed for compliance to the ordinance. With the size of the property at a half acre in the RM25 zone is when it allows for higher density. If it was less than a half acre, then the maximum that could be built on it is a duplex. But at the half acre, they're within their rights by the zone to build up to 25 units per acre, which is where the 12 comes from. So this has gone through the process twice before. Obviously it was built, and then now this is just a subdivision for selling of the units. So that's a little bit more background on what exactly got us to this point, if that makes sense. Does that help, Commission?
Yes.
Well, so we had 2 public hearings about this prior.
Yeah, it was 2
public hearings
requests for
before
comments.
this.
Yes.
So it went through 2 public hearings to begin with. The residents got letters and notification in 2021
submit
and
comments,
2024.
Yep.
So what we're doing is we're saying that was all approved. The zoning was approved
In public.
in the public. It was all approved.
So
So-
it doesn't matter if it's changed hands as far as ownership? Once it's approved, it's approved?
Yeah,
No matter what?
It's like
It's
your
entitled,
home, if
yes.
someone else bought it, we can't change, say they
So
have
you
to
said
do
you
something
sent out
different
letters
with
to
it.
everybody that was 500 feet, so I should have got one. So I'll go see if I can find one. You have record that if I got one?
The city would, you can
We should,
petition them.
yes.
While we're still in this public comment section, if anyone else would like to come forward and have a comment, get it in the record, you're more than welcome. I'll entertain a motion.
Close.
I move that we approve the preliminary.
No,
Oh, a motion, I make a motion to close
Close the
the
public hearing.
public hearing.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I would like to note for the record that Commissioner Tibbetts did have to leave at 6:35. Okay.
I'd also like to say, I don't think everybody up here is pushing for high-density stuff.
Not at all.
I'm against it. I agree with you 100%. I think parking's a problem. There's only so many things we can do up here. We have to follow master plan. We have to follow legal. We always look like the bad guys up here, but
It's hard because we want to
we
listen.
gotta get you guys to the city council and change things
It's the council, it's not us.
so that we can
There's
follow.
two different. So, and I hate to say that the public hearing is closed.
What was
so-
that, sorry?
Can I make a comment?
Public
No.
hearing has been closed.
Yeah, the public hearing is closed. We're going to keep it that way. I feel like we got a good sense of the neighbors and your issues that you have with the project. Unfortunately, a lot of it doesn't apply to what's in front of us tonight, which is the subdivision, the preliminary subdivision.
So it would have in 2021 and 2024. Where now, it's kind of like, well, it's a little late now.
Yeah, like the limit of what we could do here is we could restrict the individual sale and make it so it's apartment living, where they could
you don't want
rent individual units instead of having like someone own that piece of ground.
Right.
And so that's the only thing up for discussion and motion here.
Right.
Yeah.
With the developer being here, maybe have the conversation with your contractor to clean up a little better.
I mean, worst case, we have an ordinance officer that you guys can,
Yeah. Yeah, opening up those lanes of communication are often faster and work easier if you have a direct dialogue with them. But definitely there's an avenue through the city's enforcement.
Communications is two ways, you can get no response.
Absolutely. So we're letting you know what we are able to do from this seat.
I understand that.
Yeah. So I appreciate your passion. I appreciate you being great stewards of your neighborhood and of your community.
At least
Because-
you came.
Exactly. We
A
love
lot of
having
people don't.
participation. We do, if you've ever seen our meeting when there's no one here, it's a bit like no one cares. So it's great to see people here because that means you care and we care as well. So thank you.
And one of the things I'd recommend is reaching out to your city councilman that represents your district and share your concerns about the high density and that you would like to see changes in the zoning and see what he can do to help facilitate that. That's probably the best scenario, is to change the zoning so that it's not allowed.
For this particular property, yes.
Yeah, for this
it is-
property, for sure.
But if there are empty lots,
Going
definitely
forward.
reach out to your council person there, the elected official representing you.
Off the record, I've talked to Midvale City representatives, I've talked to the developer, and I get, well, there's nothing I can do about it, or I get no response at all whatsoever.
Okay.
You always have a forum with the city council. The city council has to listen to public comment on any and all topics during their
I would show up
meetings.
in person to the city.
Yeah, they have an open session at every city council meeting where you can come up and speak your piece about whatever you would like. Hopefully regarding Midvale, but it could be whatever you like.
And sometimes it's not about that.
Yes. All right, so with the public hearing closed and our discussions here, yeah? Oh,
Jamie.
Daniel,
Oh.
did you want to chime in?
Yeah, so this is an administrative decision for the Planning Commission to make. If it meets all of the requirements through Midvale City Code, you are required to approve it. If it doesn't, is the time that you can deny it, and if it doesn't meet some, but it can be mitigated, you can approve it with conditions.
Thank you. All right, is there a motion?
I move that we approve the preliminary subdivision for 12 units located at 7838 South Holden Street in the RM25 zone with the findings included in the staff report.
I second it.
Roll call vote, please.
Vice Chair Erickson,
Yes.
Vice Chair Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Snow,
Yes.
Commissioner Ludke,
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you for that. And thank you for your attendance here, y'all. Next up, we have staff update and other business. We have the planning department report.
We do.
Yes, we do. We have a short report. At our next meeting, we are going to have an open and public meeting training by Daniel. So if there's anything in specific you would want him to focus on, now's the time, or via email the next few days.
Spice it up and don't bore us. So
That's such a.
there's your challenge.
Email that.
You should ask
Email
Elizabeth
that
about what my plan is.
We want PowerPoints, videos, cartoons, just everything.
Do we?
Yeah.
So,
Looking forward to that.
yes.
Okay.
We'll have a short review of the bylaws, so if you have any ideas, just bring the ideas and then we can already work on language and then we'll come back at one of the future meetings and then we can delve more into the details. There'll also be 3 code amendments on that agenda and a CUP. So it's going to be one of our somewhat busier meetings.
Yeah.
Am I in charge of that?
Yes, you are.
Yes, and this, you would be in charge, Robin.
Your
You
maiden
would be-
voyage.
Okay, baptism by fire. I see that.
You're gonna do great. All right.
Okay.
Was that everything from staff? All right, thanks, y'all. Is there a motion to close?
I make a motion to close the meeting at 6:46.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, have a good night.